Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to all.
You can't hear me.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, good morning.
Good morning, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, saw your message on WhatsApp and I'll check with them. Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you before.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah. Saw your message on WhatsApp and I'll inform them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, as per your convenience. In general, as soon as you see the link or you anyway know this, right? So keep sharing with your contacts. Yeah, maybe Omkareshwar Prabhu, you also, Ram Raghav Prabhu, whoever we are making new contacts. Please share these session links so that they can join. They can start seeing how it might help them. Okay, so let me project. Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. And I'm waiting for Omkareshwar Prabhu, Ambika Mataji, to take over.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So yeah, please go ahead.
Entanglement in fruitive activities.
Maybe you can start reciting.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Prabhuji, we have to read the complete chapter or until certain verses?
Yeah, you can read till 24th verse.
Okay.
Yeah, and you need not mention the text number. You just read with the flow, only the text.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji. Now I start. Entanglement in fruitive activities. The personality of Godhead said, the person who lives in the center of household life derives material benefits by performing religious rituals, and thereby he fulfills his desires for economic development and sense gratification. Again and again, he acts the same way. Such persons are ever bereft of devotional service due to being too attached to sense gratification, and therefore, although they perform various kinds of sacrifices and take great vows to satisfy the demigods and forefathers, they are not interested in Krishna consciousness devotional service. Such materialistic persons, attracted by sense gratification and devoted to the forefathers and demigods, can be elevated to the moon, where they drink an extract of the soma plant. They again return to this planet. All the planets of materialistic persons, including all the heavenly planets, such as the moon, are vanquished when the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari goes to his bed of serpents, which is known as Ananta Sesa. Those who are intelligent and are of purified consciousness are completely satisfied in Krishna consciousness. Freed from the modes of material nature, they don't act for sense gratification. Rather, since they are situated in their own occupational duties, they act as one is expected to act. By executing one's occupational duties, acting with detachment and without a sense of proprietorship or false egoism, one is posted in one's constitutional position by dint of complete purification of consciousness. And by thus executing so-called material duties, he can easily enter into the kingdom of God. Through the path of illumination, such liberated persons approach the complete personality of Godhead, who is proprietor of the material and spiritual worlds and is the supreme cause of their manifestation and dissolution. Worshippers of Hiranyagarbha, expansion of the personality of Godhead, remain within this material world until the end of two paradhas, when Lord Brahma also dies. After experiencing the inhabitable time of the three modes of material nature known as two paradhas, Lord Brahma closes the material universe, which is covered by a layer of earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, ego, etc., and goes back to Godhead. The yogis who become detached from the material world by practice of breathing exercises and control of the mind reach the planet of Brahma, which is far, far away. After giving up their bodies, they enter into the body of Lord Brahma, and therefore, when Brahma is liberated and goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Brahman, such yogis can also enter into the kingdom of God.
Therefore, my dear mother, by devotional service, take direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart. My dear mother, someone may worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a special self-interest, but even demigods such as Brahma, great sages such as Sanat Kumara, and great munis such as Marichi have to come back to the material world again at the time of creation. When the interaction of the three modes of material nature begins, Brahma, who is creator of this cosmic manifestation and who is full of Vedic knowledge, and the great sages who are the authors of the spiritual path and the yoga system, come back under the influence of the time factor. They are liberated by their non-fruitive activities and attain the first incarnation of the Purusha. But at the time of creation, they come back in exactly the same forms and positions they previously had. Persons who are too addicted to this material world execute their prescribed duties very nicely and with great faith. The daily perform of all such prescribed duties with attachment to the fruitive result. Such persons, impaired by the mode of passion, are full of anxieties and always aspire for sense gratification due to uncontrolled senses. They worship the forefathers and are busy day and night improving the economic condition of their family, social or national life. Such persons are called Vargika because they are interested in three elevating processes. They are averse to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can give self-relief to the conditioned soul. They are not interested in Supreme Personality's pastime, which are worth hearing because of his transcendental prowess. Such persons are condemned by the Supreme Order of Lord because they are averse to the nectar of activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhuji, they are compared to stool-eating hogs. They give up hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord and indulge in hearing of the abominable activities of materialistic persons. Such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the planet called Pitraloka by the southern course of the sun. But they again come back to this planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again and same fruitive activities from birth to the end of the life. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to a high position sometimes all of a sudden falls. My dear mother, I therefore advise that you take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for his lotus feet are worth worshipping. Accept this with all devotion and love, and thus you can be situated in transcendental devotional service. Engagement in Krishna consciousness and application of devotional service unto Krishna makes it possible to advance in knowledge and detachment, as well as in self-realization. The exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities, and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and non-agreeable. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
How was it?
Yes.
Very blissful, Prabhuji, and yeah, lot of new knowledge that one should do the direct service of Lord Krishna. Otherwise, we have to come back again to to this material world.
Yes.
And now the heavenly planets, the moon, and all this goes.
Pitraloka.
Pitraloka, even the planet moon also go into the body of Lord Brahma, no? At the time of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, Prabhuji, when I was reading this, the instructions of Lord Kapila to Mata Devuti, in this particular chapter, I'm feeling that it's a summary of Bhagavad Gita, because it's touching many points. What is the destination of destiny of different yogis, where they go, and what is the destiny of one who is doing fruitive work, and we have to surrender completely to the Krishna, because Lord says to the mother that please surrender completely and do the devotional service, pure devotional service.
Very nice. Yeah, thank you very much. It was very nice hearing from you, and also thank you for volunteering to read Bhagavatam. Yeah, and that way we can hear you, and also feel special. Yeah, so in a way. So thank you.
Giving us
Hare
opportunity to
Krishna.
read.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let me try to throw some light from what Prabhupada mentions in the purport. Yeah, in case if someone has already read, that's very nice. Otherwise, also, yeah, I'll try to give a very concise version of all the purports until this verse. Okay, where to start? So this chapter is follow up after chapter 31, and in the chapter 31 we are discussing about this how uh, movement of the living entities, how is a child born and everything, what part of the body is created at what phase of the pregnancy, and what is the condition after immediately um, coming to this world. So we'll go to the 32 chapter. Before that, let me offer my prayer. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamahim Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So this 31st after the 31st chapter, the description of Kapila Dev to dear mother Devahuti is about what happens after that. Is it going to be a happy place? Finally, we are on a destination where we wanted to be, or is it not so pleasing? So this is what insight Kapila Muni is giving, and through that we can get an understanding of uh, what life have we opted. Is it the best place, and what should we do? Yeah, we also have, I think, as Omkareshwar Prabhu was mentioning, and also Ambika Mataji was telling, that we have. Yesterday, I was talking to my colleague who was saying, I think preaching in the Western world is very easy because they may not have so much misconceptions like Indians with the understanding of demigods and misunderstanding of it. I said, yeah, that's half truth. Yeah, in the Western world, it will be different kind of challenges for preaching, and we are conditioned in every part of the world. Yeah, people are also conditioned one way or the other, either atheistic or misunderstanding of a religious sense, because yeah, we need a lot of intelligence to really scrutinizingly understand what is the topmost. And that's why we take shelter of Goswamis. When we take the shelter of Goswamis and then just follow how they say, what they say, then our life is successful. And that's why we should take shelter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the commentaries of great acharyas as the reference. And otherwise, what will happen is we'll just get entangled in the confusion business and speculative business and ruin our own golden opportunity in this form of life. To understand this chapter can help us. What should be what should be the clarity with which we should live our life? And here, in the first opening, we see that um, the Lord is saying, the person who lives in the center of the household life. What does that mean? Derives material benefits. And in this context, Prabhupada is making it very clear that this is about Graha Medis. And Prabhupada is saying that there are two kinds of householders. One who is called Graha Medi and other is called Grihastha. So, though we have in previous chapters and cantos have come across this and also understood the difference, but reading again and again can help us to evaluate, are we becoming grihasthas or are we in grahamedic way of living. So here it says that here the Lord is speaking about grahamedi. His activity is to enjoy material benefit. And through this verse we can understand or come to a point that even if we are performing charities, if we are performing sacrifices, rituals, still it comes under Grahamedi. His activity is to enjoy material benefit. So why are we doing all this? So that our faith in the Lord is not so strong that He can take care of us without any problem. It is only that we have to wholeheartedly, full faithfully give our independence in the hands of the Supreme Lord. But because we don't have such a faith, what we do, we develop faith in so many other things. And so many other things we choose such a way that we don't have what do you call a side effect. Just like when we want to take a medicine, we want to see such a medicine that has very less side effects. Of course we know a medicine has a side effect, but we want to select the most minimal. And in that way, when we come in this decision of how to lead a life, we want to definitely prefer to our level of intelligence what is that which is less prone to side effect or consequences. So Grahamedis, they think, yes, I am leading a life which is based on dharma. I am leading a life based on sanskaras, and all these things are there. But what is it? Ultimately, it is for prosperity. It is for material enjoyment, economic development. If that is the goal, then we are part of the Grahamedi community. I don't know how it sounds to be, but that is the truth. So his activity is to enjoy material benefit by performing religious rituals for economic development and thereby ultimately satisfy the senses. So the only business even for is what? So that I can earn little more, I can have better comfort, I can get better name. So that, yeah, we see that people open some charity organizations so that my father's name should be there forever because he is a great man. He has done some great things. On his name, I want to open charity. Yeah, but what are we doing in that charity organizations? Are we just only giving and then they can go? Or are we really giving the spiritual knowledge? Are we giving the spiritual assets? Are we giving them Krishna Prasad? Are we giving them Bhagavad Jnana? Are we enabling them to get detachment in the life? So these are the things that make a lot of difference between a grahastha and a grahamedi. He does not want anything more, grahamedi. For such a person, very hard, works very hard throughout his life to become very rich and eat very nice and drink. By giving such charity for pious activity, he can go to higher planets. Not only in this life, he is enjoying nice bungalow, nice car, nice swimming pool, nice farm community, whatever. He has everything accessible at his um, hard working. He is getting everything. Not only that, he is also promised that he can go to higher planets because of this piety that he is getting. But he does not want to stop the repetition of birth and death. Who will stop? If I am getting my happiness, uh, of course there is some pain. There is okay that little pain. I mean, I can. This topic is very nice. I can give this example. A rat visits its friend rat who is in a city. Yeah, this rat comes from a village, and then this both rats are very early morning at 7:30. They get on to the dining table. This dining table is a huge dining table, and then what? There is a box of cheese. That the householder has arranged the food for them for their own breakfast, but the rat won't steal. Of course, very very nice. And then this rat is telling, you know what? You know what? I have such a great facilities here. I am not exposed to very cold weather that I have to. I am having very nice place. I can just hide in some small hole in the house somewhere. And at 7:30 in the morning when the breakfast will be served. It's as if like it is served for it. This rat, no, when I we can just have wonderful, wonderful all kinds of food items which are very, very tasty. And this village rat was thinking so nice, so great. And then, uh, and then both the rats crawled up the table and then uh, mm, making sure that no one is observing. This rat started eating the cheese on the table, and then when the rats were eating, all of a sudden there was a big bang on the table. And then the rats ran away immediately. And then they returned to the hole and they were discussing, you know what? One thing is there. One thing is there that if we are not attentive, there are sometimes some people who want to disturb us. They are and hit or they want to attack us. If we are careful, there is no problem. We can eat and enjoy. And this village rat was saying, what kind of enjoyment is this? Always looking who is going to beat and who is going to, what kind of condition are we? For me, I can be in the village like a king. There is no problem of this beating and all this. And though whatever I get is when I get, I can eat. Not like this. I don't know. And again, story itself has given the message where it says that we are keen on looking on the positive end and always saying, hey, there is no risk and we can continue like this to compromise. And here it is said that this kind of um, business leads to what? This rat in the city is daily eating at a risk of what? Not thinking what is the best approach. Should I go to the village where there is always safety? Of course, there is always the cats and snakes that can be there. Yeah, but it has more freedom that it can escape far better than um, maybe in the house. Yeah, this one example can be a story for a kind of a day. We can keep on discussing so many lessons, uh, comparing this man who is hitting the rats on the table to the demigods or to the karma philosophy. So many things can be, but the point is that this is all about the material conception, about the body. There is no interest of the rat, or even for us in this case, no interest for us to really think about the spiritual goal. And our it is pity that our condition is that we don't even know what is really spiritual and what is really non-spiritual. We think everything is spiritual which is not material. So all these things can be identified as Grihamedi. A Grihastha is a person who lives with family, wife, children and relatives but has no attachment for them. So if we have this one single definition, rest everything becomes Grihamedi. He prefers to live in family life rather than as a mendicant or sannyas. But his chief aim is to achieve self-realization or to come to the standard of Krishna consciousness. So this is the deciding factor. Are we on this side of the wall or on that side of the wall? Here, however, Lord Kapiladev is speaking about Grahamedi. This is what we were. And then we can refer to this verse. I think I've kept it open. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Sri Prahlad Vacha Matirna Krishna Paratara Svato Va Mito Abhipadyate Graha Pratanam Adanda Gobir Visatam Tam Mishram Punah Charvita Charvananam. So this is saying that because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to material life make progress toward hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused, either by the instructions of others or by their own efforts or by a combination of both. This is very interesting. So so this is what this opening verse is telling, where we have to understand very clearly what is grihastha ashram. Of course, grahamedi, not many people discuss. They don't even know much about what is grahamedi, and that's why they say as soon as someone is married, by default he is a grihastha. But that is not the case. By default, one is grahamedi. By spiritual advancement, by becoming Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious, family life, household becomes a grihastha household. I don't know if we keep on spending so much time on each verse, how far can we go? But I thought, yeah, it's a kind of most important for all of us. And then here, what is happening for such kind of people? Such persons are ever bereft of devotional service due to being too attached to sense gratification, and therefore, although they perform various kinds of sacrifices and take great vows to satisfy the demigods and forefathers. Sometimes we come across now is the best time that we can offer the pindas for the pitras and satisfy them, otherwise they are cursing and all those things. All this comes under karma kanda. All this comes under uh, not at a platform of a Bhagavat. And they are not interested in Krishna consciousness. Okay, if one is a Krishna conscious and if he is thinking welfare of the forefather, if he is making this as an offering, so that, oh Lord, can you favor my forefathers, that is okay. But just to satisfy them, that will only create piety. This is what is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Kamaistaistair hrita gnana. So it is said that one who worships demigod have lost their intelligence. It could look like, hey, how can such a bold statement can be made? But it is Krishna who is telling. It is Krishna who is telling what is the effects of worshipping a demigod and what is the effect of worshipping the Supreme Lord. They are much attracted to sense gratification, therefore they worship the demigods. The faith, again coming back to the faith topic, depending on our faith in the Supreme Lord, to that degree we take shelter of demigods, material nature, the power of material nature. In that way, there is this Panchopasana. The topmost is worshipping Lord Vishnu. Other are just kind of, okay, I am scared that this world can become hell for me. May rain, may the fire, may the air, everything will be supplied by the Lord and give me all the facilities. So may the nature not curse me. So that is the minimum level of worship. That is the what do you call lowest level of having faith in the Supreme Lord. That, oh Lord will always torture. Let me avoid that. So I mean, anyway, in this way there is a grading how one can come to the stage where the topmost level is where even if you roughly handle me, I don't care. I don't really care. My purpose of existence is to serve you in this life, in this material world, or in that spiritual world. It doesn't matter. how I am handled, whether it is pleasing me or not, but I want to make sure that it pleases you. So that is the topmost level of faith in the Supreme Lord, that whatever He is giving, that is the mercy that we are getting, is the perfect arrangement for our any given circumstance. Okay, so yeah, and then here Prabhupada is mentioning what happens to such persons who are Grahamedi. Such persons are bereft of Krishna consciousness and are not interested in devotional service to the Lord. This kind of so-called pious and religious man is the result of impersonalism, and this will give us how can an impersonalist can uh, become a Grahamedi? Why? Uh, because we think oneness, right? When we talk about impersonalism, they say, hey, everything is one, and in that oneness, what is happening is we think that all the demigods are of same level. Worshipping any demigod is same as worshipping the Supreme Lord, especially amongst the Hindus who are meat eaters. Prefer to worship the goddess Kali because it is prescribed that one can sacrifice a goat before that goddess. So in that way, they maintain that whether one worships the goddess Kali or the supreme personality of Godhead Vishnu or any demigod, the destination is the same. They think like that. And then Prabhupada is straight away saying this is called first class rascaldom. Bhagavad Gita does not accept that thing, and it is clearly stated that such methods are meant for persons who have lost their intelligence. Kama Moda. Because we are so much infatuated by the lusty desires and want to satisfy our senses. So what is happening? Kama Moda. Because of that, we become less intelligent and become foolish. Kama Moda are bereft of Krishna consciousness and devotional service and are infatuated. We know what is infatuation. When a girl sees a boy or a boy sees a girl, they sing, I love you. That it itself is called infatuation. It is not that this girl is Goddess Lakshmi and that boy is Lord Vishnu, where there is real love, just as soon as they see. But here, what we see in the material world between a boy and a girl is initially an infatuation until they come to, thanks to His Holiness Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj, who confirmed that love can be there between wife and husband. Only requirement is they are situated in platform of Grihastha, not in Grihamedi. In Grihamedi, it is still not the love, it is still the lust, or it is infatuation. There are so many names one can give. It is kind of interest, it is liking, or it is attachment, but it is not love. The worshippers of demigod are condemned both in Bhagavad Gita and in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. If there is any pressing question anyone has, can raise, but yeah, otherwise I'll proceed. So and then what is happening
Hare
is
Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
yes.
Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji. I have one question actually here. It's a very important topic for us. And one thing here was we should not like Pindadan and Pitrapach. So here the question is, I was reading in Bhagavad Gita, we also read that Prabhupada has mentioned in one of the purports that if you are doing the devotional service, pure devotional service, then you need not to do this, don't care for the Pitrapacha. Then it is automatically, when we are doing the bhakti, then it is, then you need not to worry much details of Pitrapacha and Pindadan and all. But my question is, Prabhuji, how we know if we are really really doing bhakti? Are we doing the devotional service, pure devotional service? Because sometimes we think, oh, we are doing bhakti, so we don't need not to do Pindadan or we need not to do Pitrapaksha. But on the other hand, we don't know our reality. If we are thinking ourselves something, but maybe we are not in that platform still.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So yeah, thanks for the question. So basically, you're asking is when do we know whether we should give up all these things?
yes, yes.
Have we become Yamunacharya to see that way that all these are disturbances, or have we become Madhavendra Puri. It's not so. But then, what is our position? Yeah, what is our position? I think we are sadhakas. Sadhakas means we are following rules and regulations, regulative principles. Yeah.
Yes.
But that, what does this mean? Should we give up all these things? What we should understand here is that how we can make everything um, Krishnatized, yeah, like magnetizing, yeah. So how, even if we are doing Pitra, we are following all these things, yeah, Prabhupada is also referring in so many places not required. Yeah, some things are required, some things are not required, and this can be given only uh, um, by senior Vaishnavas who can tell our position and who can say, "Ah, okay, this is what you can follow, this is what you don't need to follow." All these things are not a kind of generalized versions that can go straight away to everyone. Hey, stop doing it. Yeah, the important point here is how much Krishna conscious we are and how these things, yeah, as a ritual you can do it, but we shouldn't think, hey, this is so important, and if you are making this itself is a big thing as a priority compared to our chanting, uh, compared to our sadhana, then this is a kind of more a disturbance. Yeah, so we should see that how we can still maintain our Krishna consciousness, and yeah, because in Krishna consciousness everything is happening. Even the Pitrus are, yeah, forefathers are anyway benefited. It is one process through which we can benefit in many folds. In many folds, in the sense that the demigods are satisfied, the Pitrus are satisfied, and yeah, uh, we don't see, if we see in the sense of Prabhupada has not really said, hey, all the Westerners, yeah, you do the Pindadan and all those things, right?
Yes.
It is not that because there is no facility. When Prabhupada has taught so many things, emphasized so many things which are conducive for Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada can also very well say that, okay, yeah, this is also very important. Yeah, I want to see all my disciples to do this vrata or this pritapraksha, and do the pindadan for so no, this one approach, that is how this Bhagavatam is so much uh, 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 indifferent one way to the Vedic way of how we have been dealing to make this self-discipline, and also mm, to lead a very sattvic life. Yeah, because if you see the Shastras, they say if you don't do Pindadan, then it is harmful for you. You will get some arishtas, you will get some what do you call
Yes, Guruji.
doshas and all. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
but when we see that we want to we know that, yeah, we are on a path, which is directly connecting us to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in this process, yeah, our focus, the main line should always be this: how to become Krishna, how to be Krishna conscious. Huh? We are not scared, okay, if I don't do this something, then there's something bad will happen, but we do it because in that way they get Krishna bhakti. So that with that way we can do it. But
Yes.
again, this question, especially if you're talking about Pitra Paksh, etc., yeah, it's better to take a proper instruction from one who is Prabhupada disciple, representing that kind of message to, especially in India. In the foreign, at least it is an optional way. That's the reason it's not kind of made a ISKCON law it's not mentioned in the ISKCON law book, or it's not in the Vaishnava etiquettes, or yeah, it is only, it is just said that, okay, how these things, how these dynamics are there, uh, what we should do as a duty, not as a attachment, as a thinking, yeah, this is what I should do, and make big arrangements, and ignore our real thing. Yeah.
Yes, Guruji. Yes. Thank you very much, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we discussed this. Yeah. So what is happening is people who are working hard in this world and earning, if they are in the mode of goodness, what is happening is they are getting some good karma, and because of their satisfying the demigods and forefathers, they can be elevated to the moon. And of course, here is a calculation given what is the life in on moon. But one cannot live, remain there for very long time. Why? The life on moon is said to last 10,000 years according to calculation of demigod. Uh, the demigod's time is calculated in such a way that one day is equal to 6 months on this planet. So this means there is a finite period one can stay there. Uh, Even Bhagavad Gita with this reference here, we can understand, yes, that Tetam Bhuktva Svargalokam Vishalam Shine, which reduces Punya. As soon as our Punya, whatever the piety that we have created, if it is reduced, then what we do is we again come Matya Lokam Vishanti. We come back. So we don't know this. To some extent, we think that, hey, I have to do this, I have to do this so that I will uh, um, uh, go to higher planets. That's why so many people now they open charity so that uh, after this life, I don't want to go somewhere else and have to stuck somewhere and again suffer. So I am arranging something now. So let me do something good. It is like something like McDonald's. I'm sorry, but McDonald's, yeah, we know how the potatoes are produced. We know how the meat is produced. In the end, they will still advertise such a way that what we are very earth friendly, planet friendly. What we do is we use only paper, we use only wooden, or there's so many ways that they can say. But in the end, what is the product they produce is not good. So somehow reduce bad what we do, we just promote something good or bring something good. And here and then such what is happening is all the planets of the materialistic persons, including all the heavenly planets, are vanquished when the supreme personality of Godhead Hari goes to his bed of serpents. Yeah? So in this case, I mean there is some technical knowledge that we can get, yeah, when we read the purports. Here we see that all the planets, I mean but the attached persons do not know that even if one goes to the highest planet Brahmaloka, even if one goes Brahmaloka, destruction exists there also. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that one can even go to Brahmaloka, but still he will find pangs of birth, death, disease, old age. Only by approaching Lord, abode Vaikuntha, one does not take birth again in this material world. So the Grahamedis, however, do not like to use this advantage. Why? Then you have to do a lot of sacrifice of. They would prefer to transmigrate perpetually from one body to other, from one planet to another. They do not want eternal blissful life in knowledge in the kingdom of God. Why? Because we do not have faith in it. When we have faith in this, that hey, Vaikuntha is my home, Vaikuntha is the place where actually I should be there. What is there in Vaikuntha? Vaikuntha again, you have to go and work. Who likes to work? Come on. If I go to moon, I can enjoy Somaras. There is so much pleasure, not for 1 year, not for 60 years, not for 100 years, but 10,000 times um, uh, of demigod's life. So much, so much. So in that way, we do a calculation very smartly and decide that no, uh, Charvak Siddhant says, hey, don't think about some higher place. Charvak Siddhant is even more simple. Simple for simplest. Simplest for simple. Sorry. It says that Swarga and Narak, everything is in this planet only. If you are happy, you are in Swarga, enjoying Swarga. If you are sad, you are enjoying Naraka. There is no other world like that. So this is what minimizing or making it to what level we can start understanding. Oh yes, this makes sense. Who has seen Swarga? Who has seen Naraka? Who has seen Pitralok? Forget all these things. Whatever we are doing, we enjoy here. That is the life. There is no karma. Even if there is karma, that karma is only limited to this life. So even if you do good, you will get good result now. If you do bad, you get bad. So all these kind of different kind of understandings make people in Grahamedi life to stay in that life and take birth after birth. What is something that we can learn in addition is that there are two kinds of dissolutions. One dissolution takes place at the end of life of Brahma. At that time, what happens? All the planetary systems, including the heavenly planetary systems, are dissolved in water and enter into the body of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. In the other dissolution, which occurs at the end of Brahma's day, all the lower planets are destroyed. When Lord Brahma rises after his night, these lower planets are again created. The statement in Bhagavad Gita that persons who worship the demigods have lost their intelligence is confirmed in this verse. These less intelligent persons do not know that even if they are promoted to heavenly planets at the time of dissolution, they themselves, the demigods, and all their planets will be annihilated. They have no information that eternal blissful life can be attained. So in that way, we see those who are less intelligent are doing that. But now, in the next 4 verses, we see, but what about devotees? One, we see those who are those who are intelligent and are purified consciousness are completely satisfied in Krishna consciousness. Freed from the modes of material nature, they do not act for sense enjoyment. The example given is Arjuna. Arjuna, he didn't want to fight, he didn't want to go for the war, but when Krishna said that you do it and for satisfaction of Krishna, but when he was ordered by Krishna and convinced by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita that his duty was to satisfy Krishna, then he fought. Thus he fought not for his sense gratification. So again, I mean, in this way we can take every verse and go very deep. In this way we see that people just are confused what is dharma, or because we understand this is dharma and then we should not cross beyond this, then we think that we just live at dharma, artha, kama, moksha, or this dharma. Yeah, but what is the paradharma? It is very clear. To fight for Krishna, for Arjuna, was the ultimate dharma. There is no other thing. It is not that okay, taking care of family, not killing family members, protecting them, even better to sacrifice one's own body. All these things are also dharma. Rule nice, but fighting for Krishna was the ultimate dharma for him. Thus, he fought not for his sense gratification, but for satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So that makes it different. And then in this there is description of who is called nisanga. Nisanga means one who is not for sense gratification but for gratification of the Supreme Lord is called nisanga, free from the influence of material modes of nature. Nyasta karmana indicates that the results of their activities are given to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in that way, what is happening is a person in Krishna consciousness, he is not worried to take the results for him, because after everything, whatever we are doing is only for pleasing the Lord. And actually, even if we are doing it is because we are empowered to do it, we are given the facilities to do it by the Supreme Lord. So also the result belongs to him. With that understanding, a devotee renders service or works. That's why such devotees are called prashanta. Why? Because they are satisfied. They are completely satisfied because they are satisfying the Supreme Lord. Suddha Chetasa means Krishna conscious. Their Krishna consciousness has become purified. In unpurified consciousness, one thinks of himself as the Lord of the universe, but in purified consciousness, one thinks himself the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. So this is again definition or criteria whether we fall in Grahamedi or Grahastha, based on how is our consciousness. As long as one works for his personal sense gratification, he will always be in full of anxiety. Again, what is the symptom if we are in Grahamedi? Are we in anxiety? Or are we stable? Are we prashanta? So that will tell in which uh, community or ashram we are. Nivritti dharma nirata, nirmama, nirankarata. So this is saying that by executing one's occupational duties, acting with detachment and without a sense of proprietorship or false ego, one is posted in one's constitutional position by dint of complete purification of consciousness. It is not by power, but it is because of purity of consciousness. One is in situated in good consciousness, and by thus executing so-called material duties, he can easily enter into the kingdom of Godhead. So there are two margas, which is called, I mean, there are two dharmas, nivritti dharma and pravritti dharma. Because dharma is something, hey, we say that, hey, I am also following dharma. But which kind of dharma are we following? Is it nivritti dharma or pravritti dharma? That decides, are we grahamedi or grihastha. There are two kinds of religious performances. One is called pravritti dharma. Uh, this is performed by grahamedi for elevation to higher planets or for economic prosperity. The final aim is sense gratification. That is called pravritti. But the opposite type of religious performance, which is called nivritti, is to act for spiritual supreme personality of Godhead. So in nivritti, there is always like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, and it is not kind of negating our actions, but it is negating our actions of sense gratification, which is called nivritti, is to act for the supreme Lord. It's not like we stop acting; we act in such a way that we are positioned in Krishna consciousness. Engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness, one has no proprietorship claim, nor is one situated in false egoism of thinking that he is God or master. He is always thinking himself the servant. That is the process of purifying consciousness. So, are we developing this spirit of servitude? Are we thinking that, hey, I am servant, I am servant, I am not the master, I am not the leader, I am not head, I am not the director, I am not the CEO or president or that. I am servant. In every role, what I am doing, I am still a servant of the Lord. That is what is again grahastha. Materialistic persons in their elevated condition can enter any one of the planets within this material world, but all are subjected to dissolutions over and over again. So, what is the value of doing it? To be even materially prosperous, there is always a problem. Now we come to the point of Surya Dvarena Te Yanti Purusham Vishwato Mukham. So, what is happening is when people, this liberated or this devotees, through the path of illumination, such liberated persons approach the complete personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of material and spiritual worlds and is the supreme cause of their manifestation and dissolution. And Prabhupada mentions what is this? Surya Dvarena. Surya Dvarena means by illuminated path or through the sun planet. The illuminated path is what? Is devotional service. It is not okay. Okay, we know that if we, I mean, of course, we'll come across this later in the fourth canto. We know that how important, how emphasis is given that okay, you should turn towards north, you should turn towards south, east, and when you're doing this thing or this thing, then it you will go to higher. There is a reason, but for bhaktas, yeah, it doesn't matter. Every direction is favorable. Up, down, left, right. I mean, all the directions are favorable in action. But here it says that the illuminated path, what is that? If it is devotional service, it's not only that it's on the east. It is advised in the Vedas not to pass through the darkness, but to pass through the sun planet. It is always also recommended here that by traversing the illuminated path, one can be freed from contamination. And what is that? It is devotional service. The word Purusha Vishwato Mukham mean the supreme personality of Godhead who is all perfect. That is what it means. All living entities other than the Supreme Lord are very small, although they may be big by our calculation. So this is saying that how to understand this and to be in Krishna consciousness. Hmm? And then what is happening next? Uh, this is still about, we are talking about Dvi Parartha. Two Pararthas is the duration of Brahma, and after that Pralaya will happen where Brahma dies. So worshippers of Hiranyagarbha, yeah, we know this golden egg, uh, and how this is formed. This is none other than the Lord Himself, and people who worship that form, uh, expansion of the Supreme, remain within this material world until the end of two pararthas, when Lord Brahma also dies. Until then, I mean, this is decision. Brahma dies at the end of two pararthas, and at which time the entire material universe is dissolved. Persons who are worshippers of Hiranyagarbha, which is the plenary expansion of the Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, which means they are Vaishnavas, hmm, do not directly approach the Supreme Lord in Vaikunta. They remain within this universe on Satyaloka or other higher planets until the end of life of Brahma. Then what is happening? Then with Brahma they are elevated to the spiritual kingdom. Hmm? The word parasya, parachintaka, means always thinking of the Supreme Lord or being always Krishna consciousness. When we speak of Krishna, this refers to complete category of Vishnu Tattva. Krishna includes the three Purusha incarnations, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and Kshirodakashai Vishnu, as well as all the incarnations taken together. This is confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Ramadi Murteshu Kala Niyamena Tishthan. So, all the forms, he exists with all his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions. So, in this way, we understand that such persons enter directly into the kingdom of God uh, who are fully Krishna conscious. Uh, or if they are worshippers of plenary portions, they remain within this universe until its dissolution, and after that they enter. So what is the difference between these two worshippers? This is what happens. And then after experience the inhabitable time of the three modes of material nature, known as two pararthas, Lord Brahma closes the material universe, which is covered by layers, and goes back to Godhead. So here we see that what happens to Brahma. After this, Brahma can go. It's not guaranteed that Brahma, because we say that also Brahma has this, right. There is also cycle of birth and death. There is also chance that he can also go back to the spiritual world, based on what? Based on his Krishna consciousness. It is here the word avyakritam. Avyakritam is very significant in this verse. The same meaning is stated in Bhagavad Gita as Sanatan. We know Vyakrita, to appear. Here we see Avyakritam, or subject to changes, and it finally dissolves. But after the dissolution of this material world, the manifestation of spiritual world, the Sanatana Dhamma remains. So after this, material world may be dissolved, but spiritual world is still there. Uh, When after ruling over the material universe under the influence of time element, Lord Brahma desires to dissolve it and enters into the kingdom of God, others then enter with him, who have worshipped the Hiranyagarbha. They will enter. And then what about the yogis? The yogis who become detached from the material world by practice of breathing exercises and control of mind reach the planet of Brahma. Huh? After giving up their bodies, they enter into the body of Lord Brahma. And therefore, when Brahma is liberated and goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Brahman, such yogis can also enter into the kingdom of God. So, this is what is there, but there is a chance. What is happening is, it is clear that as long as a living entity is the worshipper of a particular demigod, his consciousness is absorbed in thoughts of that demigod, and therefore he cannot get direct liberation or entrance into the kingdom of God. Nor can he merge into the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme Lord. Such yogis or demigod worshippers are subjected to the chance of taking birth again when there is a creation again. So we see that how all these are spiritual paths, but what spiritual path can be a smooth one, what can be a straight one, what can be a indirect one, what can be a risky one. So in that way. And then here, therefore, my dear mother, now after saying this, he is saying, my dear mother, by devotional service, take direct shelter of the Supreme Person of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart. And here he says Bhamini. Uh, the son is calling his mother Bhamini. Why? Because Prabhupada says Bhamini. Why? Because she is not ordinary person. She is already very advanced. She knows all this yoga and everything. And after knowing all these things, he therefore addressed his mother as Bhamini to indicate that she was already thinking of Lord as her son. Devahuti is advised by Kapila to take directly to devotional service, because without that consciousness one cannot become liberated from the clutches of Maya. So that, and then he says, now you know what, not only this, he says, who all, he says that, my dear mother, someone may worship the Supreme Lord with a special self-interest, but even demigods such as Brahma, great sages Sanat Kumaras, and great munis such as Marichi have to come back. Even if there is some self-interest, we have to come back. When the interaction of the three modes of material nature begins, Brahma, who is the creator of this cosmic manifestation and who is full of Vedic knowledge, who are all others, I mean, he mentions, they are all come back under the influence of time factor. They are liberated by their non-fruitive activities and attain first incarnation of Purusha. But at the time of creation, they come back in exactly the same forms and positions they previously had. So this is telling us that what will happen if we take other paths like worshipping demigods or the other forms of the Supreme Lord. So what is happening? That Brahma becomes liberated is known to everyone, but he cannot liberate his devotees. Demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva cannot give liberation to any living entity. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, only one who surrenders unto Krishna can be liberated from the clutches of Maya. Brahma is called here Adya Sthira Charanam. He is the original, first created living being. In that way, he says that he is just a creator. After his own birth, he creates the entire cosmic manifestation. He was fully instructed in the matter of creation. Here he is called Veda Garbha, which means he knows the complete purpose of Vedas. And then he also accompanied by so many great personalities, and all these things happens. And here it says Brahma, there is this word called Bheda Drishtya. What happens is Bheda Drishtya is sometimes Brahma and Shiva come under this seeing indifferently. And the example here given is Brahma sometimes thinks that he is independent of the Supreme Lord. This is what he says to even Narada Muni. But then he says, no, I am not the Supreme Creator. But sometimes what Brahma is thinking that, hey, I am the Lord of creation. I am independent. I could do this creation by myself. The three of them are under Vishnu. Vishnu maintains, Rudra and Lord Shiva destroys. The three of them are understood to be incarnations of the Supreme Lord, in charge of different roles. Here the word Veda Drishtya occurs because Brahma has a slight inclination to think that he is independent as Rudra. Sometimes Brahma thinks that he is independent of Lord, and the worshipper also thinks that Brahma is independent. So in that way, for this reason, after the destruction of this material world, when there is again creation by the interaction of material modes of nature, Brahma comes back. Although Brahma reaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu, so Brahma has a possibility that he could even go to when the universe is destroyed or dissolved, then Brahma is going to even Mahavishnu, not even Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, to Mahavishnu. He cannot stay in the spiritual world. Why? Because of this. Because of Veda Drishtya. The specific significance of this coming back may be noted. Brahma and the great rishis and the great master of yoga, Shiva, are not ordinary living entities. They are very powerful and all have all the perfections of mystic yoga, but still they have an inclination to try to become one with the Supreme, and therefore they have to come back. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is accepted that as soon as one thinks that he is equal with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is not completely purified or knowledgeable. In spite of going up to the first Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu, after dissolution of this material creation, such personalities again fall down or come back to the material creation. And of course, we will go. This is another subject which is in the next para, is saying about what is this great fall down. But yeah, maybe you can make a note of this, read it yourself. What does this mean for an impersonalist to be a fall down? But then we go to this persons who are too addicted to this material world execute their prescribed duties very nicely and with great faith. They daily perform all such prescribed duties with attachment to the fruitive result. So here is saying Grihamedis are so much addicted to the material world. That's why they keep coming, and then they will also, um, those who worship demigods with the consciousness that each and every demigod is a separate god cannot be elevated to the spiritual world. This means one cannot think that, okay, all these demigods are independent. There is no relation or there is no superior. There is that everyone is coming from the Supreme Lord. If we do not understand this, then one cannot be elevated to the spiritual world. And what to speak of persons who are simply attached to the duties of upliftment of material condition. So we need to get this understanding. Otherwise, we will be suffering. Such persons impelled by mode of passion are full of anxieties and always aspire for sense gratification due to uncontrolled senses. They worship the forefathers and are busy day and night improving the economic condition of their family, social, or national life. And then, and they are called this Tri-Vargika. Tri-Vargika means three Vargas. What is this? They are always busy in maintaining three Vargas for their elevation. Dharma, Artha, Kama. Not interested in moksha. Persons who are simply interested in material enjoyment make plans to execute prescribed duties. They are interested in three elevating processes of religious rituals, economic elevation, and sense enjoyment. By developing their economic condition, they can enjoy material life. And that is the whole process that goes on. But then, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is here described as Hari Medha, or he who can deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. Hari means one who can cut the knot of birth and death. Materialistic persons are never interested in hearing about the marvelous pastimes of the Lord. They think that they are fictions. They are not fit for advancing in devotional service. Such materialistic persons are interested in newspaper stories, novels, and imaginary dramas. The factual activities of the Lord, acting in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all these things they think is are only fantasies, or related to Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which are full of activities of Lord. But materialistic people who engage in elevating their position in material world have no interest. They may be interested in activities of great politician or a great rich man of this world, but they are not interested in the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. So we understand that what are the people's interest are. Nunam daivena vihata. So here again we are saying that such persons are condemned by the Lord himself. So see how serious problem it is, that Lord himself doesn't like that, because they are averse to the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Lord. It is not that because they are not talking, they are not glorifying me, they are not doing bhajana or kirtana about me. It is not because of that, but they're saying that what kind of foolish taste these people have. What, and compared to what? Stool eating hogs. And in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that what kind of people are they? The hog is interested in eating stool. If the hog is offered some nice preparation made of condensed milk or ghee, he won't like it. He would prefer obnoxious, bad smelling stool, which he finds very relishable. Materialistic people are like that. The message of the Lord's activities is nectar, and besides that message, any information in which we may be interested is actually hellish. And what is the destination for them? What will happen? Such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the planets called Pitraloka. We see what is the shelter given for such people is Pitralok. But they again come back to this planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitive activities from birth to end of life. So this is what in the 9th chapter, verse 21, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining. There are different prescribed rituals from birth until end of life, and they are very much attached to such activities. So we are talking about the sanskaras. All the when we are doing all these sanskaras, these sanskaras are not for material enjoyment, but actually to get those seeds that are required to become enlightened, to practice Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, all those are only rituals, so that okay, offenseless, ahimsa way of living, and all those things. And what is happening because of that? When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to a high position sometimes all of a sudden falls. So, Mam Upetya to Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. So he's saying anyone who attains my abode never comes back to this conditioned life of material existence. This is what is the position of a devotee. Whereas what happens, Abrahma Bhuvanal Loka, that even if one is elevated to a higher planet, he has to come down again. But only Krishna is saying, if you come to me, then you don't have to go back. And he's saying again, my dear, I therefore advise that you take shelter of the Supreme Person of Godhead. For his lotus feet are worth worshipping. We worship so many other things because we think that okay, by his mercy, by her mercy, by his grace, by her grace, by some divine arrangement, um, I will win the lottery. What is that lottery? No suffering. That will not happen. That will only happen when we take shelter at the lotus feet of Mukunda. Accept this with all devotion and love, for thus you can be situated in transcendental devotional service. uh, Parameshtinam. Here the Parameshti, who is Parameshti, the Supreme Person. As Brahma is the Supreme Person within this universe, similarly Krishna is the Supreme Person in the spiritual world. Lord Kapiladev advises his mother that she should take shelter of lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna because it is worthwhile. Taking shelter of demigods, even those in the highest position like Brahma and Shiva, is not advised herein. One should take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Sarva Bhavena means in all loving ecstasy. Bhava is the preliminary stage of elevation before the attainment of pure love of Godhead. So anyway, so this is what we have to understand. We have to have a clarity. We have to strike the clarity, understand this, that what is really devotional service. Devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is the only means for attaining the highest perfection of life for the human being. This is recommended herein by Lord Kapila to his mother. Bhakti is therefore nirguna, free from all tinges of material qualities. So which means whenever we are doing anything to gain something which is under the influence of material modes of nature, that I do this so that I get a position, I do this that I can get money. All this which is material, it is not bhakti. Although the discharge of devotional service appears to be like material activities, it is never saguna or contaminated by material qualities. Though we are also working, though we are also eating, though we are also cooking, but these activities may look same, but what makes it different is if it is bhakti, it is nirguna. If it is not bhakti, it is saguna. Tad gunashrayaya means that Lord Krishna's transcendental qualities are so sublime that there is no need to divert one's attention to any other activity. And the example given here is that it is said that the demonic Putana came to kill Krishna by poisoning him, but because Krishna was pleased to suck her breast, she was given the same position as his mother. So Krishna will grant us the best. And then there are two kinds of religious activities, one for the material advancement and the other one for spiritual advancement. By taking shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna, one is endowed with both kinds of prosperities, material and spiritual. Why then should one go to any demigod? So one shot, uh, with one shot we can have both birds. Yeah, what is it? We can prosper ourselves with material and spiritual by being in fully dependent on Krishna and following the devotional process and serving him. In that way, we see that okay, we see ISKCON is such an organization, huge organization. Uh, Definitely, it is not just only the Krishna's grace through which this whole institution is there. In that, whatever Krishna has given, he also gave whatever financial support that is required. Whatever financial needs that are there, of course, it um, he has also provided the blessings which is spiritual. So in that way, Prabhupada was empowered by Krishna completely. Why? Because he took it himself, serving his spiritual master and being in full Krishna consciousness, and then he attained success. What do you call all-round success? Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. What is that? Prayojan. What is the benefit? What is that? We get engagement in Krishna consciousness and application of devotional service unto Krishna make it possible to advance in in knowledge and detachment. Even if one is thinking that I want to become a jnani or a vairagi, even in both the cases, again, if one is Krishna conscious, both will come automatic. And yeah, Prabhupada mentions this is very important. Sometimes people see bhakta very cheap. They think, hey, he doesn't understood everything, but just he's doing everything. It is said by less intelligent men that bhakti yoga or devotional service is meant for persons who are not advanced. But the fact is that if one engages in devotional service, he does not have to attempt separately to practice detachment or to wait for awakening of transcendental knowledge. Why? Because Lord is saying, I will preserve what you have and I will supply what you lack. It is said that one who engages unflinchingly in the devotional service of the Lord actually has all the good qualities of the demigods develop in him automatically. One cannot discover how such a good qualities develop in the body, but actually it happens. There is one instance where a hunter was taking pleasure in killing animals, but after becoming a devotee, he was not prepared to kill even an ant. Such is the quality of a devotee. So the qualities come as soon as you become a devotee. Those who are very eager to advance in transcendental knowledge can engage themselves in devotional service without wasting time in mental speculation. Why? For arriving at a positive conclusions of knowledge in absolute truth, the word Brahma Darshanam is significant. What is Brahma Darshanam? Means to realize, to see the Lord face to face. That is what is darshan means, to have darshan. and Brahma darshan. If Brahman is impersonal, then there is no question of darshanam. Because we are saying Brahman is a personality. Here we say darshanam refers to seeing the supreme personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Unless the seen and the seer are persons, there is no darshanam. So Brahma darshanam means that as soon as one sees the Supreme Lord, he can at once realize what impersonal Brahman is. A devotee does not need to make separate investigations to understand the nature of Brahman. So in this way, we understand that becoming devotee, practicing Krishna consciousness, one can attain everything, whether it is material or spiritual, or whether it is knowledge or detachment. Everything can be achieved by what? Panchama Purushartha. Purushartha means what is the purpose of doing it. That is what is called Purushartha, and Panchama Purushartha, which is bhakti, not dharma, artha, kama, moksha. One can attain all these things. And finally, yadasya chittam arteshu sameshva indriya vrittibhi na vigrahnati vaisamyam priyam apriyam iti uta. So here is saying that, okay, the exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities, and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. In the purport, in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that whatever he does, a person who is exalted devotee, whatever he does, whatever he thinks is for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Either in the material world or in the spiritual world, his equipoised mind is completely manifested. He can understand that in the material world there is nothing good. That is what we call seer. He says in this material world there is nothing good. Everything is bad due to its being contaminated by material nature. The materialists, what they do, they have conclusions of good, bad, and moral, immoral, are simply mental concoction or sentiments. Actually, there is nothing good in the material world. In the spiritual field, everything is absolutely good. There is no inebriety in the spiritual varieties. Because a devotee accepts everything in spiritual vision, he is equipoised. That is the symptom of being elevated to the transcendental position. He automatically attains detachment, vairagya, then jnana, knowledge, and then actual transcendental knowledge. The conclusion is that an advanced devotee dovetails himself in the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and in that sense, he becomes qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of God. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for this wonderful class. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. Lindo bells rings.
It's true.
This reminds me the bell in Vrindavan, right? Sharp at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. When the class will get over, even though the speaker will be speaking or somebody will be asking questions, that bell is repeated.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or any comments anyone want to add, share? This is telling about family life. How to prioritize Krishna consciousness above the family life. What is Grahamedi? What is Grahastha? How do, because there is always a confusion. Is this my duty? Is this not my duty? Ultimate duty is to become the servant of the Lord. So these are the words spoken by a son to his dear mother. Of course, Devahuti very well know his son. So that's why. So we can't simply say, hey, so nice night. See, son is enlightening his parents. So we should also do this. So much jnana. And we can't simply go to our family members and say, hey, we are all in Grahamedi life. We have to change ourselves. We have to do that. No, We have to come to this. We are not so. What do you call? We have to understand that okay, this is mainly for me. How I can improve. Yeah, and with that focus, we can advance. And when we advance, seeing our quality, seeing our nature, our surroundings change. So that way, it is not that okay. No, let me take care of my family life first, and let me become a good role model, and then people will appreciate me, and then I will become a bhakta, and then people will also appreciate me. No, when we become a devotee, in that itself, no, we see that how to prioritize things based on the scriptures, and how to attain perfection under the. I mean, this is what under teachings of Kapila Dev. Yeah. Omkareshwar Prabhu, Ambika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. I think it's a very nice chapter, Prabhuji. Very good. Yes, there are so many questions also, but I think the time is not enough.
Yes, I'm very well know there are a lot of questions because it's very close. Yeah, because always we have this dharma sankat.
Yes.
This dharma sankat is such a big thing. Okay, should we refer to Manu Samhita? Should we refer to Rig Veda, or should we refer to that or this? So a lot of confusions because of so much confusion was there already, because of which people were trying to become knowledgeable by becoming more gyanis. Yeah, that the more and more gyan you get, the more and more struggle you have to assimilate to come to a point.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that's why when we take shelter of Bhagavatam and have complete faith in Bhagavatam, then we are not so much picky on other things. And okay, even if we are not doing it, okay, Krishna, you know why I'm not doing it. That can become our general way of seeing. Yeah, like okay, if you see Haridas Thakur, when prostitute came, he said, okay, you came, yeah, to protect you is my dharma. Yeah, because if this prostitute was saying, hey, if I go back unsuccessful, my boss will uh, um, punish me, or I have to face consequence. He said, don't worry, but just give me time that I finish my rounds. Hmm? That is what it says, to have clarity in what we are doing, having faith. And then because of hearing and hearing, she changed. She became a devotee, and she is not worried now whether her boss will pay her or not, whether the boss will, I mean, whether she will be punished or not. She was not so worried because she became a devotee. She understood that all these are material things. Yeah, isn't that? I mean, this answer I was
Yes,
referring so
Prabhuji.
that we have a one clarity answer for so many unclear situations. Of course, still case to case, one should discuss with senior Vaishnavas to really take. No. Uh, uh, I know now how to do it. Let me do like this. No, rather, it is always still advisable that one approach seniors and seek very important, um, especially when we take important steps to really approach and cross check whether we have understood correctly. Uh, on the strength of sadhu shastra and guru, we can cross over. This is Bermuda Triangle. Huh? This is our Bermuda Triangle. All our problems can sink in that. Huh? All these problems disappear in that if we have this triangle, Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Dwarakavasini Mataji. Ambika Mataji, you were saying something? Or?
Prabhuji, Ambika is got stuck with Bharat now.
Mm-hmm.
He has to go to football course and she's preparing actually.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Dwarakavasini Mataji or Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
How are you doing?
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, you are good. Yes, it was very informative, Prabhuji.
Yes. Any questions?
About this Guna Avatar. So Bhagwan Vishnu is also Guna Avatar, or is
Yes. Yes.
so like Lord Brahma and Shiva, he is also Avatar, or
Yes.
he is Lord himself?
Yeah. Lord himself. I'm just reading. I'm trying to get that. Okay. Sitting in the. No, I'll go up. One sec. Mahavishnu. Yeah, so I'm reading. So Brahma is entrusted with creation, Vishnu maintenance, and Rudra, Lord Shiva destroys. So the Lord, this came in the second canto and also even the first canto where we come across that the Lord Himself expands into plenary portions and also plenary expansions further and etc. So just like how we see this um, Mahavishnu expanding himself. So we see that this Vishnu in each of the universe again there is this Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are there, and this Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So Vishnu is definitely expansion, yeah, and each are enrolled with guna. Guna avatar means what kind of guna that they are overseeing, yeah. But this again we see that this incarnations or expansions are still all these three are coming from whom? From Mahavishnu. So in that way, yeah, Vishnu, when it comes, I don't know if you have seen Little Krishna. If you saw Little Krishna, there you see that when Krishna is going to kill the demons, he all of a sudden becomes Vasudev. Yeah, with a helmet and all this like a yeah, it's not that because now he becomes coming into what do you call gearing up for a war. No, it's not that, but he Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, he is taking the form of Vasudev. He is taking a form which is entrusted within the universe, and that is Vishnu. Yeah. So though it is the same Lord, when he is dealing in different ways for different things, he is appearing in different forms. So for maintenance, it is same Vishnu who is becoming Vishnu, and it is same Vishnu who is becoming Brahma. For creation, it is same Vishnu who is becoming Lord Shiva. It is same Lord Vishnu, but the what do you call the the role, hmm, the role or empowering are only partial expansion. Even the energy, the Shakti, uh, the Lord is all powerful in all incarnations, everything. But he is entrusting himself to take care of only destruction, dissolution, or destruction, or only creation, or only maintenance. So it is something like you are same Gaurav. When you go to office, you are different Gaurav, and when you're at home, you are different Gaurav. Huh? When you are at a shop, you are different Gaurav.
Hmm.
It is still you are the same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
At
Prabhuji,
home.
but the Brahma is soul, right?
Yeah, Brahma is Jeev. Yeah.
Soul or
Yeah. But he's a Guna avatar. So there is this Lord himself and Lord is Lord Shakti. So the Lord is empowering someone, and if when in the case of Vyasadeva, in case of Narada Muni, yeah, they are also expansions of the Lord, incarnations of the Lord.
Yes, Prabhuji. So Lord is yes, this
Yeah.
creation. So this guna, he is yes,
Paradrishti.
like expansion of him.
Yes. For engaging in that service, yeah, the Lord is empowering, so they are created. That's why we see that the Lord Brahma has birth and death. Yeah. So he's not the supreme Lord, no? So he's still a Jiva.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Dinath Prabhu, Vasan Lila Mataji. Your internet is working nice.
Yes.
Better. But not phones. You have to change number. Change number means you have to change network.
Yeah, I work for Vodafone. You want some offer? Let me know.
Yeah. Sure, probably. But actually, yesterday when everybody came, we tested that if Vodafone also working fine. But then Madhuprabhu was saying Vodafone network is also not coming in our home. Probably we'll go now for T-Mobile. Let's see.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever
you
something
change the network which doesn't work, then you change the house, no?
no, whenever something doesn't work, I read this statement from Maharaj that in Vrindavan machines don't work. So
Yeah. So you're seeing the advancement of Lindau by that measure. More and more devotees are becoming there. So yeah, the facility stops working. Don't tell the secret to the government.
yeah, we know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Ram Raghav Prabhu, Ratikeli Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, you're feeling better?
Yeah, a little bit better, but again, since yesterday it is gone down. I don't know why.
After cancelling, na, because your healths are not so well, I thought, okay, I should have conducted the session that could have been a medicine, but I thought maybe it's too risky.
Yeah. Prabhuji, just in the continuation of what Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu asked, I think Brahma is the living entity, right? So it definitely has a soul, its own soul, right? I mean, of course, which is part parcel of the Lord. How about Shiva and Vishnu? Not the Mahavishnu, but the Rudra and Vishnu from the material world.
From Mahavishnu, Sadashiva comes, right? And Sadashiva, when he appears in the material world, he appears as Shiva, yeah, Rudra, in the material world. And we will discuss a little more when we are having this Bhagavad Saptana. In that context, we will understand what does Lord Shiva does, yeah, from who he worships, and all those things. In that connection, we will know more. Yeah,
but they are not different souls.
Yeah.
They are not different souls as such.
No, they are not different. Yeah. So this Sadashiva expansion appears in every universe, yeah, in the form of Lord Shiva, Rudra. And of course, we also see that Rudra comes from the eyebrow of from the eyebrow of Brahma. This is also there. Yeah, when When this comes also in Bhagavatam, when Lord Brahma was disturbed, when he was, it says he was crying actually, but when he was disturbed with how he was tortured by all his creations, then Lord Shiva appeared from his eyebrow. So different sources through which we see that, okay, there are different personalities, coming into as Lord Shiva.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll discuss this more in the fourth canto, and also there is also a reference of Lord Shiva when he talks about Prachetas in the end of the fourth canto, and also in the eighth canto there is. But I'm also kind of starting to gather some details which definitely I don't know, and hope by then I'll have more inputs.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Dankeli Mataji. Yes.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
This Srirangam Mahavishnu and Kerala and even Chennai also, Tiruvallur, these all are Mahavishnu avataram.
Yeah.
Okay. Mahavishnu avatar. Okay, Prabhuji.
So yeah, that's where we see. Actually, not Mahavishnu avatar, they are actually Garbhodakashayi Vishnu avatar.
Garbhodaksh. Okay.
Because we see that Lord appears from his navel comes Lord Brahma. So yeah, but both the Vishnus, they lie down. Yeah, even if you talk of Mahavishnu, he is also lying in the causal ocean. But in every universe that is created, there is again a spiritual realm, spiritual space in which there is this waterbed on which Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is lying, and from his navel comes Brahma. So all the swarupas that we see in not only in these three temples, but whole this side, all the temples where we see that Lord is in the laying position. Even Balaji is also seen in lying position.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day. Recover well from sickness, and eager to see us soon. And for this 3rd of December, Dinath Prabhu, you may have seen.
Yes.
You can tune and you can also read in parallel all the chapters, definitely.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Someone will stream it. But I was thinking to kind of again kind of toggling between on-site and online and offshore might be
correct. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, then. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.